What stands before you today is not only opportunity, but permission, but great permission, permission to let go of the very things that have haunted you, keep you in darkness, challenge you the most, the idea of letting things go, while active in some ways is primarily an act of reception, and allowance, and to let, which is to allow things, which are the issues you have, go, which means to release, simply means you're saying yes. It is permissible. You need not carry these things. Into tomorrow, your idea of tomorrow, which is all tomorrow ever is, When we ask you questions about your lives, about your lives, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? What do you think you are? What do you think you are? You answer as best you can. Through the subjective rules. This is who a person is. What identity is, as experienced by the individual, without understanding of these subjective responses, that these subjective responses are entirely confirmed through the schemata of collective group, reasoning, choice, and allowance. Even the titles you give things. He is a doctor. She an attorney. He is not doing very well. In his occupation. Are all born in comparison, and the meaning that things have been endowed with, and the meaning that things have been endowed with. When we say yes to you, when we confirm you as you truly are, when we confirm you as you truly are, we are not confirming your work. Your occupation. We're confirming your true identity. We're confirming your true identity, the divine self that operates beyond time, and need not carry tomorrow, with today's and yesterday's burdens. Now, when we speak to you about a burden, we simply mean something that is held. In the energetic field, in memory, which holds vibration, and the vibration of these memories and ideas, in fact coalesce, and become substantial, hence a burden, a heavy thing, a thing carried about. The relinquishing of a burden, while it may mean great relief, may also mean that the idea of self, the one who has held the burden for so long, must be relinquished, because you've so self-identified, through the burden and its presence and its challenge, you've come to believe it's who you are, that you've come to believe it's who you are. You are your addiction. You are what happened when you were a child. You are what happened to you when you were a child. You are what your husband said about you. You are what your husband said about you, or what your wife said when she left, or what your wife said when she left. You think you are these things. You think you are these things. You are not these things. You You experience these things. But you held them. Use them. Claim them as identity. And they operate in the energetic field. Calling to them things of like vibration accord. When we teach through Paul, we understand his needs to learn. We understand his needs to learn, release his own burdens. But today is not about him. We're not going to take his questions, and we're not going to take his questions. We're going to continue teaching. We are going to continue teaching to this collective, because this collective has been prepared, through past class, to release an idea, of self as the one who is bound by history, the belief you are bound by history, the belief that you are bound by history, what you endured or experienced, what you endured or experienced, what the collective endured experience, and what the collective endured and experienced must be understood, yes, as a fundamental burden that you all carry, The collective carries many burdens. The collective carries many burdens, collective beliefs, collective law, collective pain, and there are issues in individual culture, that seek to replicate the whole, In other words, you become the one who inherits. You become the one who inherits the pain of the culture through your experience of the culture, through your experience of the culture, although all you have done is aligned to what has been present, in your experience, when we speak to you today. We speak about two different things. We speak to you about two different things: the willingness to release, and the willingness to be who you are, and the willingness to be who you are without the self-identification, through the challenge. It is not a badge. It is not a badge that you had a challenging life, There is no one in this class. Who has not known great pain, of one kind or another. It is not noble. It is not noble to continue suffering. There is really no nobility in suffering. It's a challenge when it occurs. It may be learned through. It may be handled gracefully. Or perhaps not. But it does not make one noble. The relinquishing the idea of self. The relinquishing of the idea of self as the one in pain, as the one carrying burdens, comes at a cost, because the names you've given yourselves, I'm the one who's always failing. I am the one who is always failing, never beautiful enough, always last, always wrong, predicates identity in other words, commerce with others in the field, In other words, your calling card becomes your burden. And your exchange with others and your exchanges with others tend to be primarily dependent on their agreeing with your ideas of who you are, which are born in what you went through, letting go, allowing it to release, must mean that it goes somewhere, You're not going to drop something. You are not going to drop something and have it land on your foot, You're not going to pretend it's gone. You are not going to pretend it's gone. It must be offered. It must be gifted. It must be gifted to an idea of something, a level of vibration higher, than the one that it has been held by prior, than the one that it has been held by prior. Understand the vibration. Understand the vibration of what we call the upper room, The upper room does not align to fear. The upper room does not align to fear. When you lift to the upper room, you are aligning to the aspect of you. You are aligning to the aspect of you that does not hold fear, When you align in the upper room, at this level of choice, what was once a burden, may be renowned, may be released, But what you cannot do is swoop back downstairs to try to reclaim it, because who are you without it? Who are you without it? The gift of this class today is the agreement that can be done, is the agreement that it can be done. It will be so. It will be so. It will be made so. It will be made so at a level of tone or vibration, where what is old, what is actually obsolete, can be released, because it cannot align, to the level of tone that we sing, to the level of tone that we sing. Now, when we say sing, when we say sing, we may mean tone. We may mean tone aloud, as sung, but the level of vibration we hold, but the level of vibration that we hold, which is an intonation, which is an intonation, may actually override those things that have been held, those things that have been held in lower alignment, in lower alignment. Now, lower alignment simply means, lower alignment simply means that its initial creation holds a basis in fear, holds a basis in fear. It does not make it bad or wrong. It does not make it bad or wrong. It simply was created at that level of fear. It simply was created at that level of fear where what it magnetizes to itself, is more evidence of the same, is more evidence of the same. In other words, repeated trauma. In other words, the repeated trauma, the repeated dynamic, the again insult, the again and again insult that you carry within you, and expect to experience in the world you see, and expect to experience in the world you see. However, these things have been made manifest, whatever you may call them today. Whatever you may call them today, they are finally creations. They are finally creations, simple creations that have claimed you through self-identification as who and what you are, as who and what you are, when in fact they are not. When in fact they are not. You may hold a tumor in the body. But the body is not the tumor. You may hold an energetic field. That carries great pain. But you are not great pain. And the re-recognition of identity. I know who I am in truth is what will claim you. As the one who holds the permission, to release the obligation, to what was created in fear, What does that mean, he asks? When something is created in fear? When something is created in fear, it holds a level of tone. What it was born into, the memory of the slap, the punishment, the memory of the rejection, the memory of the brutal attack, It really matters not. It happened, and it was stored in one way or another, in the body and in the energetic field. Now, the energetic field is actually easy to move, Mostly the issue is that you've self-identified, through the history, through the old, and see yourself as replicating it, What about the body, he asks? The trauma stored in the body. The trauma stored in the body may also release once you stop objectifying it, nourishing it, placating it, simply letting it be what it was, simply letting it be what it was, an idea of what happened once upon a time, It is not the truth of you are, that is not the truth of who you are, gives it permission to move, Now, we are speaking rapidly today. For two reasons. We are overriding the channel. With this rapidity, but we also want to lift you. One and all, to a level of tone, where the permission you require, which is simply an agreement to what can be, made known to you, one and all. On the count of three, Paul. On the count of three, Paul, we intend to tone through him. We will invite you as well. We will do the attunements after. What we are doing now is preparing a space for the action of agreement, a level of tone or alignment, where what was created in fear cannot be held, where what was created in fear cannot be held. Now one, now two, now three, now three. I know who I am in truth. Say this. I know what I am in truth. I know how I serve in truth. I am free, I am free, I am free. I am in the upper room. Behold, I make all things new. Now ask each aspect of self that has been held in shadow, that has been held in shadow, the burdens carried, the burdens carry, the creations chosen in fear, the creations chosen in fear to lift the energetic field, to the energetic field as silt to the top of a glass, as silt to the top of a glass. When we claim this for you each, and when we claim this for you each, we invite you to claim an agreement to it. We invite you to claim an agreement to it. And this is the simple agreement you may claim. And this is the simple agreement you may claim. It will be so. It will be so on this day we choose. On this day we choose to bear witness to each one present, to bear witness to each one present as they are in truth, as they are in truth, beyond any names they've been given, beyond any names they've been given, creations of fear, burdens that they've carried, burdens that they have carried and misidentified with, or through. On this day we say your name. On this day we say your name, the true name of each of you, the true name of each of you, so that you may live to it, so that you may live to it. And in this lifting, allow what was created in fear, to be reknown, to be reseen, to be reseen, to be reclaimed, in this, the upper room, in this, the upper room. This is the name we give you each. This is the name we give you each. I am truth. I am truth. I am free. I am free. I am expressing. I am expressing my true divine nature, my true divine nature, and I give permission. And I give permission to allow anything that's not in alignment, to allow anything that is not in alignment with my true name, to be released, to the higher octave, where it may be reknown, Again, Paul, on the count of three. Again, Paul, on the count of three, and you all may join as you wish, and you may join as you wish. Now one, now two, now three. Be still and know. Allow. Be still and know. Be still and know. Allow. God is. God is. God is. God is. It will be so. It will be so. Allow the field you hold to release as it needs to. The energy you feel moving around you is indeed the release. So you are simply saying, I have the right to this. It's not who I am. It is not who I am, and I am renowned. And I am renowned beyond the old idea. Beyond the old idea, I have let go. I have let go of what I believed was me, of what I believed was me, to be renowned. To be renowned as I can only be in truth. Thank you for your presence. Thank you each for your presence. We will take a pause for Paul.